Welcome to the SwitchClicksPodcast, Episode 5, recorded on August 28th, 2020. Today we're going to be discussing some of the Gamescom stuff, Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, and is there a Nintendo Switch coming? There could be. I'm your host, Dakota, and today I'm joined by Nathan.
Hello.
And Devon.
Hello.
So let's get started. So, I guess last week they introduced Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. I don't know where that came from, but yeah, I think they put out a reveal trailer and a teaser trailer, and they're gonna reveal multiplayer next week or sometime.
So basically, they sent a bunch of stuff to all these Call of Duty YouTubers. It was like a really, really subtle teaser, and players just had to open up Black Ops 4 and find out what to do. And it eventually evolved into a teaser trailer, which kind of got some controversy around censorship, but I don't want to get into that. And they later revealed the actual trailer. They never specified if it was actually a reboot of Black Ops, like the Black Ops saga of Call of Duty games, or if it was going to take place after Black Ops 1. And then they decided to add in a campaign trailer. Parts of it was showcased in the previous trailer, but this one was more in depth, and it gave us a little summary of what the plot will be. I don't want to get into that either because it's relatively vague, to say the least, and we still haven't revealed like what exactly is going to be the like overall plot in terms of antagonists. And it did say this was going to be based off of a true story, which is probably the first in Call of Duty, because I don't think there was any other COD game that actually based like stories off of something that happened in real life.
They probably will.
Can I interrupt all this for a second? If you watch the Gamescom opening, which by the time we're recording this, it happened yesterday, they actually went more in depth about what it's about and the story behind it, when it's set. I think they mentioned it was sort of like an interlude between the first game and the second game.
That's true.
So
I don't know what any of that means. I've only played one Call of Duty.
well, it's set, if I remember any of the detail correctly, it's sort of like set in the early 1900s, right?
1980s, actually.
I think it's like 81 to 89.
Okay.
Which is Cold War time, so
pretty much retcons.
No, the new one I believe is earlier. They said, if I'm remembering the GameCon correctly.
I think they were showing. I could be wrong. They were showing a bit of the Vietnam War, and then it probably leads into Call of Duty Cold War. So I'm guessing the Vietnam War is probably your first mission at the beginning of the game, and then it leads into all this other stuff. Like maybe an origin story for your main character in glasses and that screwed up face.
Assuming this is in the same timeline as the actual Black Ops games, this would, like, the Vietnam War was already covered. I think the Cuban Missile Crisis was also covered already. This would be taken after it.
I would say if you want to get all the information, go watch the recorded GameCon opener when they actually interviewed the people about it.
So what do you guys think of the idea of them covering the Cold War and having that like really be a part of Russia's history and the US history so close to 2020?
It certainly does like give the Cold War more of an identity throughout the COD series, because there's only been really like one game. Although if you really include Black Ops 2, that's half and half, I suppose. This is yet another one of those games that will probably have an amount of controversy, I guess. I can't really tell yet because they haven't revealed that much.
Since it's so real to like history, it's definitely gonna be controversial in some ways.
They already censored Tiananmen Square thing on one of
Yeah,
their
I didn't even
trailers.
notice it, to be honest.
Yeah, it was like a couple seconds, and that was pretty much it. Now, in terms of gameplay, I have a lot of hopes for it because the previous Black Ops game, Black Ops 4, it was pretty much overhyped, to say the least. Like, everyone was so excited for Blackout mode and such, COD's entry into Battle Royale. And they're also doing boots on ground, no more wall running, jump, like super jumping, all that sort of stuff. Yet, it still didn't appeal to fans because it wasn't the COD they were looking for. The game was pretty buggy at launch, and I think Treyarch spent a little too much time on Blackout, more than he should, because it really did negatively affect all their other stuff.
Yeah, I saw that Blackout kind of just faded. Meanwhile, Warzone, it's been thriving. I don't really know the difference, but
Warzone fixed everything that Blackout had. And I think that's what Activision wants to go with now, because it seems like they want to implement Warzone with Black Ops Cold War as opposed to making an entirely new Battle Royale game.
Yeah, so at the end they teased multiplayer, and it was basically it looked like there was reactable ground, like the ground would explode if a bullet would hit it in the dust.
Mm-hmm.
That could be set maybe in the middle of the US because it's really dusty. Maybe in South Dakota or North Dakota. Pretty pog. It'd just be destroying me.
Yep. I will say though that if Treyarch is no longer working on the Battle Royale mode, and that will definitely give them a better chance at improving their other stuff. Most notably, their Zombies mode, which failed horribly because they didn't have enough funding to apply a bunch of fixes to it. They also weren't fun enough for good cutscenes, or even make original maps for that matter. They literally just copied and pasted off of Blackout maps, and I think that just it caused so much backlash from the fans. Mm-hmm. And I believe some YouTubers did actually go into depression. I'd say I wouldn't necessarily blame Black Ops 4 for it, but give YouTubers enough content to work with, and it just left them all dissatisfied to the point where some of them actually did get to depression, to say at least. They also had to take breaks from YouTube because it was not a good thing. It was not a pretty sight, but it started to come back a couple months ago. I hope that this game really improves upon everything else because they really screwed up Black Ops 4.
So I'm not really sure. I don't play many COD games, but I was watching. I'm really interested in the story of this. I'm not as interested in the gameplay, only because it does look kind of generic and Call of Duty. But it is Call of Duty.
It's the generic COD game. What do you expect?
But it looks like they might be a little bit more creative with how they do it, because maybe I saw that there's one screenshot where your main character, the guy with the glasses and screwed up face, is in a suit, and I'm pretty sure that's a Russian suit. I could be wrong. And it could be you might have to infiltrate a Russian area, and you won't have to do any combat.
Okay, one thing I definitely remember from the opening night, the main villain is some super Russian or sort of
the
a secret,
super spy.
Yeah, secret ops super spy, and they're that's the main villain where I believe your character and his team are hired to get rid of.
Yeah.
I'm sort of half expecting one of those villains to be the fake villain. They kill off this villain and the real one happens to be right beside you.
Yeah, it's a Call of Duty villain that they already used. He's still alive. I don't know.
They've already done that once, but that was a different company. That was a different developer that did the sort of subverting expectations sort of thing.
And it looks like they. I saw some combat, and it was almost like the finishers for multiplayer. So they could have like hand-to-hand combat, which would be pretty cool. Not just, oh, okay, you have two fists, start punching the guy while you run around him. You can't hit me!
It's even better than running around with just a knife in your inventory.
I'm kind of thinking like Assassin's Creed, but in first person, and a little bit
That would
slower.
be cool. Like, that pretty much means this game might have quite a number of stealth missions. And,
That would be pretty cool.
You know how stealth missions go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of like stealth missions more. In Modern Warfare, the campaign, I really enjoyed the ones where I go into the houses and it's all dark, and I have to kill the right people and not the innocent civilians.
They definitely nailed that part really
Yeah,
well.
I really like that. So if they just continue that, that'd be pretty cool.
I feel like they could really make a more consequential thing in Black Ops Cold War, because they could make it where you can complete levels multiple ways, of course, but like if you screw up, it's going to be very difficult to survive after that.
So I don't know where I heard this, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be that you can change, like there's going to be multiple endings to the game, which would be pretty cool. Like maybe a post-apocalyptic, or like a where you succeed, where you don't, where you go on the other side or something.
Only ever done that once in COD games. Black Ops 2.
But now it's just splitting the timeline.
Yeah, but well, technically speaking, they do have one like canon ending, and the rest are just other endings that don't really affect the story. They did in Black Ops 2, where one of the endings, which was the best ending, was the canon one, and the other endings were not real.
And then I think they did confirm Zombies is coming, but they won't.
Yeah, they did
that until multiplayer.
Of the trailer. Zombies is going to be an interesting one.
Because we can do. I wish they would do like maybe American Zombies. You'll go to popular American places, like maybe like the Empire State Building in the post-apocalyptic nuclear war stuff, and then you go up the Empire State Building. You have to get to the top.
Yeah, there were very few locations in the States. I think. Okay, so you had the Pentagon.
That'll be pretty cool. Holy crap!
Area 51.
Really? Really?
Yeah, Area 51 was part of the moon map.
That makes sense.
It was the starting area, so it was pretty much hell on Earth. You had this, one of the first maps for Black Ops 2 took place in Washington State. You had Nuketown, which was in Nevada. You had some. Well, technically it's in Africa, but there's this one map that took place in a Wild West town. And I believe there was one that was based off of San Francisco. And you also had one in Alcatraz. So there was quite a number of ones in the States already. Now, in terms of other stuff they could do for zombies, I really hope they make a map where you could play as perhaps politicians again, because there was a map in Black Ops 1 where you were able to play as JFK, Richard Nixon, Fidel Castro, and Mira.
Well, hey, they already confirmed Reagan in this.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I swear, seeing Ronald Reagan in this trailer made me made me amazed at how good their CGI has become.
Yeah, they kind of revealed him like a Smash character. All of a sudden, everybody shuts up. Then the doors open. I'm like, who's gonna come through? Is it gonna be a character that I already know? Oh no, it's just the freaking president. A new challenger appears.
U.S. president.
The CGI cutscene that looked incredible. There was some parts like the skin looks a little too shiny, but still, it looks really good.
You can see every single wrinkle on Ronald Reagan.
Maybe that was just their test footage, and they're like, "Yep, let's just go with it."
Someone made a comment I saw, and they said that most of the budget went into Ronald Reagan's wrinkles.
I'm just hoping there's more cutscenes.
Oh,
like
there
that.
probably will, because motion capture has been like the style that COD's been using lately has been really impressive. Ever since, I guess, Advanced Warfare, cutscenes looked beautiful, and it's what the fans also want too. Based on what we heard from Black Ops 4, they decided to use these stupid comic book looking cutscenes. Nobody liked it. There was a lot of backlash for it.
They were probably cheaping out a bit.
Yeah, they were cheaping out for sure because they spent most of their money on Battle Royale.
Well, that was a popular thing.
Well, Blackout wasn't that good though. People kind of just went back to Fortnite or just abandoned COD like they just abandoned COD all over again. Now, what do you think of their choice of focusing on Warzone instead of making a new entirely different thing?
So for Warzone, I'm not sure how they're going to transition. I don't know if they're going to be updating the current Warzone and then just having like a button on Call of Duty Cold War to go to it, or they're going to make a whole new game and just call it Warzone again.
Well,
because there's a bunch of stuff like there's going to be a nuke happening in it in Warzone as an in-game event, just to move over the Cold War.
Yeah, it could. I don't think they're gonna give us a massive overhaul of the game, because that's basically just making another game, basically.
Well, that's what Fortnite did in a way. They just made a whole new map and then didn't let players play for a week.
True, Fortnite Chapter 2 is kind of just...
And nukes could be a good excuse.
Yeah, it could be
a good with the tone.
Make a major update. I guess they're just gonna slap on a completely different engine. I don't know.
Well, yeah, I don't doubt it. They'll probably just shut down the original Warzone, and then people can go download it over on the other thing. It is available for PS4 and PS5.
Yes. So,
and previous and next generation.
Come in with PS4, Xbox One, PC, and then whenever the heck PS5 and Xbox Series X comes out, it will come out then.
Yeah. But that weird, I saw that release thing. It was in US and Canada, it'll come out holiday, which is probably November. But in the rest of the world, it's going to be late 2020, which could be December. That makes no sense to me at all.
I don't know if that terminology is really accurate, though. Holiday 2020 and late 2020 seem interchangeable.
Holiday 2020, I think in terms, it starts Halloween.
Halloween?
Well, Halloween and then into November, which would be their Thanksgiving, the US Thanksgiving.
That's true. I was expecting it to be December or so. Maybe that's
it could be delays with translating.
Oh yeah, local
COVID.
That, or maybe the whole COVID shipping everything out.
That too, because
we've kind of gotten that under control. It's not the biggest thing in the world, but
some countries are still.
Well,
yeah, some countries.
I would say you could also throw the COVID on the voice acting thing, because what if they just can't get the voice actors right now?
That's true.
I don't know.
Think about this game was kind of, I'd say, rushed in the sense it was supposed to come out 2021, because the original COD 2020 game was supposed to be developed by a completely different producer, Sledgehammer. But I think...
So how many are there?
There are currently 3 main ones. You have Infinity Ward, which is the original. You have Treyarch. And then you have Sledgehammer, which came in with Advanced Warfare and World War II. But Sledgehammer kind of just got kicked out for some reason, over some debate with one of their other developers. COD 2020.
So which one makes the best games, do you think?
I'd say Treyarch, because they're the ones who kind of give COD the identity, like their own separate identity with their zombies mode.
Not just shooty bang bang.
Yeah, not just shooty bang bang, but like a unique zombies mode. Not some multiplayer game that you jump in and kill people randomly.
Yeah.
I'd kind of say Infinity Ward is okay. I mean, they really did bring in like a really good game recently. Really good games with Modern Warfare and Warzone. It's still COD. It's not like something unique that Treyarch would bring in. So my favorite would be Treyarch.
I've only played one game, so
Yeah,
Modern Warfare. I don't know what developer made that one.
Wait, which one?
Modern Warfare, the new one.
Okay, yeah. Infinity Ward did that one.
Okay, and then I also played Modern Warfare 3.
Also Infinity Ward.
I would assume so.
So
those are technically not in the same universe?
Different universe.
But like all the Modern Warfare games are in the same universe. All the Black Ops games are in the same universe.
Well, okay.
In a way.
The newest Modern Warfare game is a reboot. But all the Black Ops games, including Call of Duty World at War, are all in the same universe.
Aha. Okay.
It's a complicated timeline though, because they really screwed it up. I'd say, like Black Ops Cold War is going to retcon one of the spin-off games. I'd say because it takes place in the same years. But it's not a big concern because that spin-off game was on the PS Vita, and that was a complete failure.
Nobody plays that.
Nobody played that game.
Move on to the next part of our topic. So in the past week, Nintendo, there's been points towards a Nintendo Direct today, but nothing happened. But earlier in the week, there was a Nintendo Direct mini partner showcase. It's about a 50-50 like ratio on YouTube, but who cares? They gave some good stuff. Some of the most important stuff I'd say out of this is Just Dance 2021, and Puyo Puyo Tetris 2. I think that's probably the best one out of all of them.
Mm-hmm. I've heard that Just Dance 2021, they were not going to release it on the Wii, which is...
Well, that's
not the
Wii. Finally lay it to rest.
Done.
It's
13 years.
Series.
Great.
It's been living on for quite a surprisingly long time. But that pretty much means that the Wii can't live up to the lifespan of the Atari 2600.
Well, you'd be surprised in 20 years when they release a Wii classic. So Puyo Puyo Tetris 2, that's pretty cool. Now, it didn't look that different other than the campaign.
Yeah, that's true. But it hits nostalgia really hard, though, because
it's still going to sell insanely well.
It was one of the very first games on the Switch. So the sequel would definitely be something that people will consider.
I'm just hoping it could have like what am I thinking? Maybe more players can play, like up to 8 players. It's set up to 4, but if they just boost that up to 8.
Yeah, 8 would definitely be a big improvement.
Or maybe teams, like 2 players on each side.
They've already done that. They've already done that actually.
Sorry.
On Puyo Puyo or something else?
Yeah.
Didn't they make it so now you can have like Tetris versus Puyo Puyo?
Oh, they had that in the original.
You can choose. You can choose which one you prefer. I'm a Tetris guy.
I'm also a Tetris guy.
But that's also because we're freaking North American.
Yep.
We're North American.
No. Other than that, I don't think there was anything else that was...
There was a Minecraft Dungeons.
Yeah, but
more of a DLC, not a...
Yeah, it was a winter. They kind of already announced it, so this was kind of like...
I think it was just a good place to advertise it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't count that as... Oh, wait, yeah, it's not an indie showcase, it's a partner showcase. Never mind.
Also had, like, Final Fantasy games on there, but I don't play that game. I don't play the series, so it didn't really interest me.
this is all leading up to Gamescom that is happening right now. Actually, one of the big things that came out of that. There's a lot of games that came out of that. I think the most noticeable is the Fortnite crossover with Marvel again with Nexus War.
This time it's for some comic book event known as the Nexus War.
Yeah.
Black is the main villain of this, I think.
Is that any reference to any comic book, or they're just putting random characters together?
I think it's a reference to a comic book. I don't know. I haven't looked into it yet. I just know they have a pretty decent looking roster for Marvel characters. Definitely a step up from Endgame, I'd say.
I think for Endgame they just had some limiting because they used Black Widow as a skin because Black Widow movie is probably going to is coming out soon again.
Oh, so yeah.
So they could
definitely
reuse the character. Same with Guardians of the Galaxy. They
Yeah,
could reuse him. But Iron Man looks really cool, and I'm not going to be playing Fortnite at all. But it all looks cool. It looks solid. I'm just hoping they release a Galactus skin that's bigger than normal. I won't buy it, but
bigger than Thanos.
Well, they could put a Galactus mode. That'd be pretty cool. Or if Galactus is a active character,
probably lag up the game crazy if that was ever going to happen.
Well, if Fortnite's on the next generation, they haven't confirmed that, but it probably will be.
True.
Then they can do that. Let's get back on track, and we'll just go to our last topic.
Some other news.
So recently, there's been an FCC filing for a brand new Nintendo Switch. This is massive news.
Massive, I'd put quotation marks on, because I remember that time when in 2019 when they had a similar type of situation where there were leaks about a improved Switch. I'd say everyone started thinking, "Oh my gosh, this is gonna be the Switch 2 or the Switch Pro or something like that," and it wasn't. It was just a better battery and better processor than else.
Well, it was still an FCC leak, and it was still technically true. The last time this happened was for the Switch Lite. An FCC filing came out, and then about 2 weeks later, I think, they put out a trailer for it.
Mm-hmm.
So we could be just waiting for a new release. I'm honestly praying it's not like a Switch Pro. It's just like an upgraded Switch that they'll replace the old one with.
Me too. If this was Switch Pro with exclusives and such, I would be very, very mad.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm really ready to pay $500 for a Switch.
I don't think I'm ready to necessarily upgrade in the sense.
Yeah.
Only if there's a significant difference. Like I can see the difference between Breath of the Wild on both consoles, then I maybe consider it.
The games are made in a specific resolution though. They can only keep it at that resolution. They can't just put it all the way up to 4K. Because if you upscale games, it can only really go so far before they look really similar. If the games are made at...
I think 1080p is good enough, though, for the Switch. I think for Breath of the Wild, you maybe needed to put more shading and some better lighting, and it would look 10 times better.
That game was definitely delayed so much. They were just learning how to use the Switch at that point, I think. Which is why the game's only at 900.
That's true. The stuff that they specified here is it includes changes to the NVIDIA Tegra chip that's inside, which is a CPU and a GPU, and it also changes to memory. So
that sounds the memory
so they could kick up the memory, the RAM.
Okay, if it was RAM, that's definitely not surprising. If it was storage, I'd be very surprised.
Yeah, maybe double. It would have to be double if it's 16 now or 8.
So the current one is I think 32 gigs storage.
32. They could double it to 64.
64 does sound nice. And considering how much cheaper it is getting these days, it's probably only going to go for that as opposed to making a massive overhaul and lock some games behind this power barrier. I don't know. I just hope they don't pull another new 3DS situation.
I think they'll be kind of smart about this.
Yeah.
I think they should probably just replace it with the old one, but you can still play all the games.
There's also this, I guess, I don't know if it's rumors or if it's speculation, but they also said this Switch might be like a dock-only thing, so that people don't have to carry around two separate things while moving their Switch, potentially. I don't know.
I think that would hurt the brand. The whole point of the Switch is you can switch.
It's like, why would you get like a console that's not as powerful as a PS5 or Xbox Series X? It's only stationary. There's nothing unique about it.
Yeah, that's just a Wii U with a regular controller.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Devon has nothing to say for the past 20 minutes.
Well, I mean, yeah.
You guys are talking specifics and things. I'm like, I don't see the point to if they are actually making a new Switch. I get like there's update all the stuff, like the processors and all that, whatever.
That'd be understandable.
But like, also, I think like you said, Nathan, if they up the price and then all of a sudden it's like, yeah, you need to buy another $800 system to play all the new games. When like, I know the Switch hasn't like just come out, but still, I consider it a fairly new system.
Yeah,
if that's fair, right? Because
it's still in its first half of its life cycle, basically.
And they're already trying to replace it. If that's the case.
Yeah, that'd be a really dumb idea.
Yeah, hey, you remember that big system everybody was so excited for? Yeah, forget about that. We messed up. Here's a new one to fix it. Buy it again.
They just start disabling all the old games. You can't play it on your old console. You have to buy this new one.
I doubt Nintendo will go that far, but still,
if there's a lot of hate from the new 3DS.
Yeah, if that's the message they send out, that's not going to be very good for the company.
It'll hurt them so much, especially with the lack of general Nintendo Directs. Backlash behind that.
Honestly, if they go this whole year without putting a Nintendo Direct out, other than minis, I'd be okay with it as long as it's really good the next time they do it.
I was gonna say, like, I also think I'm not sure how common they were before, like the big surge of this year.
Mm-hmm.
Every 3 months or so.
Okay, but like
maybe 4.
Weren't they doing it like once a month or sooner? It was like, as far as I can remember, it's like I'd hear about a direct, then a few days later, it's like, here's another direct.
Oh, it's like direct-esque kind of things, like, you know, indie showcases or game-specific directs, that sort of thing. That's what kind of live streams every month or so. But other than that, general directs was usually placed like every 3 or 4 months per year.
Okay.
Which is pretty consistent. Say, though,
one thing that I will start getting ticked off if there are no good announcements up until December, because December was like pretty much the start of all these lackluster announcements, I'd say. Ever since the Game Awards 2019, Nintendo's kind of just off from all these major announcements.
There has been a freaking global pandemic, but okay.
Yeah, like, that's the thing. Like, they decided to use Twitter for some of these announcements, and it was kind of odd, to say the least.
I think they should tease it, give them a bit, maybe tease it the night before. Same with Pikmin. If you just release like the top of a Pikmin's head,
yeah, like,
but then
Samus's
think
helmet.
people would be expecting Pikmin 4 and not Pikmin 3 Deluxe. So people would be mad at Pikmin 3 Deluxe if they teased it that way.
True, but then you have games like Paper Mario, which was pretty much close to being shadow dropped, I'd say.
Yeah, if they tease it before the trailer, that'd be cool.
Yeah, they should have teased that, but they didn't, and nobody looked at it because it was like, oh, this is a new Paper Mario game. It's not the 1,000-Year Door. I don't want to buy it. And that game just kind of got overshadowed by other RPGs in that sense. I was hoping though they actually give a good announcement before the Game Awards 2020, if that's ever happening.
Well, they just confirmed that it's online, so.
Oh yeah, here's hoping Nintendo does something before that day, because if we get to the Game Awards 2020, that'll basically mean one whole year of backlash against Directs and other Nintendo announcements.
I was gonna say, isn't the Game Awards happening like right now?
Oh, that's Gamescom.
Okay.
The Game Awards, that'll happen like December 8th or so, I think, this year.
I'm mixing up the events.
I think that's a good place to end it off. Thank you for joining us today for episode 5 of the Switch Clicks podcast. We talked about a good amount of stuff. You can find it all in the description and the timestamps on your screen. Or if you're listening to the podcast, check it out on YouTube and Spotify and iTunes. Thank you so much for watching. One day I'm going to accidentally leave one of those in.